Welcome back, everybody. My name is BluJay, and we are over here in what has been serving as my enchanting area for the entirety of this series so far. And we're getting to the point where it's time to make a permanent place for this because it doesn't look so great. It's not living up to the level of quality of the rest of our builds, and we really need to take care of that. So that is what we are going to be focusing on for the entirety of this episode today, and we are going to get started right now. Actually, something I need to point out to you guys before we move forward with our build today is this thing that we built last week. I had to make some revisions. One of my subscribers, his name is Master TMO, pointed out to me that we need indeed 3 redstone instead of 2. 2 up top and then 1 down, 1 block below, and 41 of whatever item we want to store in the hoppers. Now, these ones only have 1, but they will fill up gradually as time goes on. But as you can see, there's 41 there, and this is an overflow chest that I built. But basically what was going to happen is because there was only 1 redstone before it dipped down, it would activate once it got to a certain point, the one right beside it, and empty out the filter. So it would basically break the system. So thanks to Master TMO for pointing that out. I'll link his blog on my description, and you guys should check it out. He's got some great stuff. Second thing I want to show you guys is this. I did a little bit of work off camera on the mountain and just kind of shaping that to flow into the iron farm a little bit better. And it's not completely done yet. I'm not 100% satisfied with it, but it's made some progress. Rather than just the, square post that was sticking out of the top of the mountain, it looks a little bit more natural now, which is kind of what we're going for. But it's not quite there yet. As you can see over here, I haven't done quite as much work on this side and even less work on the other side. So it's a bit of a task doing terraforming like this. It takes a little bit of time. While I was on my road trip, I did a little work on this in the car, and I worked on it for probably a couple hours in the car. And, I got it mostly done, but it still needs some work. So I'll be doing that off camera gradually throughout the series, and I'll give you some progress updates as we get stuff on it finished and as we get closer to being done. So enough of that. Let's move on to the main part of our build for today. Just to show you guys this real quick before we get started, I have cleared out all of the space where our enchanting room used to be, and the first thing we're going to do is start with the path. So let's get going on that. Basically, what we are doing here is taking our oak wood stairs and curving it around just a tad bit. And the reason we are doing that is because the doorways don't exactly line up. Now, I knew that they didn't line up when I originally built this pathway into the enchanting room, mainly because I built the enchanting room before we had the pathway, before we even actually started the Let's Play series, because I started a little bit on this world, not too much, but just a little bit before we started the YouTube channel. But basically, we need to curve it around so that it lines up. Now, don't worry. I already know how this is going to turn out because I built not just the enchanting area itself, but this entire room in a creative testing world before I even touched it in survival, because I just wanted to make sure that we were going to have the look and feel that we want in the space that we want it to be fitting into. Whoops. Let's get that turned right side up, just like that. And like I was saying, I built it in a creative world before, but there are going to be a few things here and there that are not exactly like completely duplicable, and we don't want them to be, because you'll see in a few minutes when we get to the bigger part of our build outside of this pathway, there's just some randomization stuff that, makes the build look a little bit better that you can't duplicate one for one. You can, but it would take quite a while and it'd be too tedious to do so. And it takes away from the natural flow of the room. Now, I didn't have the ceiling in my creative world, so that needs to be taken into account. And I just think when you've got randomization kind of stuff like that, you need to just go with the flow. All right. That pathway is looking pretty good. And yeah, I think I want to take that out and put a stair there. Yeah, I I think that makes it look a little bit more fluid. What if I put another one right here? No. Nope. I don't like that. I think that takes away from the curvature of the room. It just, when you get over here, it looks really narrow. Now we're going to take that back out and put our spruce wood plank back in. Okay, well, let me get a few supplies sorted, and we'll move on from the pathway. All right, so what we need to do now is go over here and count 3 blocks over, and then on the 4th one, right there, we're going to place down a log, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on the 6th log, or block, we'll place another log, and actually, we're going to take that back out and place a log on top of the stone that we just placed down. And here's why. We don't want to be wasteful of our resources. No one is ever going to see that block. It's below the floor, especially once we get the actual floor in. You can see it right now, but you won't be able to here in a little bit. Something that I used to do early in my days of playing Minecraft that I'm trying to do a little bit better at now, just because it's, a little bit crazy. I used to be so obsessive with all of even the hidden details that it just takes forever and you never get your builds completely finished. So if you're never going to see it below the surface, more than likely you just put a filler block down there. And that's what I've tried to start doing, just so that, we're saving ourselves time and saving ourselves quite a few resources in the long run. So we're going to continue putting this around, and while we're doing that, I just want to talk about 1.1. I haven't heard much news about that in the last couple of weeks. Maybe that's because I've been a little bit out of the loop. If you guys have any updates for me that you want to share, I'd be more than happy to hear those because, man, I'm really excited about that update. And it seems like they have been talking about it for a couple of months now. And I'm just hoping that it comes out soon. Who knows, maybe it'll be out by the time this episode is uploaded and available for your viewing pleasure. Awesome, there's our bookshelf arrangement, just like before, and don't worry, we're going to decorate that, make it look good. If I can jump, oh man, I am so bad at jumping right now. There we go. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Yeah, I'm really excited about 1.1. There's a lot of really cool new features in that version of Minecraft that I'm really looking forward to, and I just feel like it's taking forever. I know that they've got, bug fixes and beta testing and all of that stuff to do, and that's important. You don't want them to rush the game out just so everybody can have it and have it be a complete disaster, and, you don't want to do that. So I'm impatiently but patiently waiting for the update to come out. So while we're waiting on it to be released, why don't you put down in the comment section what you are most excited about seeing in the next update? Out of all of the features that have been announced, what are you most looking forward to? Okay, so we're getting quite a bit of work done on this. As you can see, I've placed down some grass blocks, and that's going to be like the basic foundational block of our floor, and we're going to add a little bit of texture throughout, but that's what we wanted to use to start with. And we're kind of doing here what we did with our hallways, putting in some spruce logs to connect different parts of the building together and different parts of the floor together so that it looks a little bit more cohesive and connected. So let me go ahead and keep working on this, and I'll come back here in just a couple minutes when we've got a little bit more progress. So we've got ourselves some fences, and we're going to fill this in just like that, and then go over to the other side and fill that in just like that. We also have a spruce door, and I think this is the nicest looking door for this particular build. And yeah, that looks pretty good. So let's throw the rest of these doors back into our chest. And what we're going to do now is grab our spruce logs and kind of fill in the rest of the frame around back. The front is looking pretty good. We just need to finish off the rest, because this part back here is actually going to be exposed to the air, and you're going to be able to see it from different sides of our base area, specifically the hallway right outside the blacksmith shop that you can see right over there, and the nether portal, potentially. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that room just yet, but you're going to be able to see it, so we need it to look good all the way around. I did a little bit of work off camera and got part of the roof in place, but I wanted to show you this part right here just because it's going to be a little interesting. We're curving it around all the way through the inside, but we're not going to stop there. We're actually going to do a little bit of a pitch right here at the front, just a really small one, just like that. And it's not actually going to go all the way around. It's just for the front, just like that, so that there's a little bit of a roof facade there. We're not going to fill the whole thing in because you'll see in just a minute, we're going to put something else in place of a regular roof style. And I think it's going to look pretty cool. So what we want to do right now is put a log right there. Right there. I don't know why that was so complicated, but I could have just placed that down in the first place. Awesome. Yeah, that looks good. So that's it. That's our roof. We're going to add some leaves. We've got our spruce leaves that we've been collecting with our Silk Touch axe when we've been chopping down trees at our tree farm. And basically the idea for this is when you think of an enchanting room, you think, you know, the word enchantment, enchanted forest, and all of that kind of stuff. And we want it to look like it was kind of lifted out of the forest. So maybe we found this plot of land in, you know, our spruce forest nearby, and it got completely lifted out in one piece, and now it's in our base. So that's kind of the idea we're going for. It's going to be really overgrown and grassy and full of leaves and brush and all of that. The other thing that we're doing is, I forgot when I built this in my creative world, I built this up one more high with bookshelves. So we don't have enough to do that right now. I'll do that here in a little bit when I've gathered the resources for it. The reason being is because our roof our roof wraps around. That's a tongue twister. Our roof wraps around just like this, and we don't want it to go all the way around the edge. We want it to kind of shift in like it's part of the wall there. So I think that's pretty good for now, and I need to grab my spruce leaves. There they are. So we can go back up here to the top of the roof. We're also going to carve out some of this ceiling. I'm not going to do it all right now. We'll do it as we go, just to kind of create some space. But let's get started placing down our spruce leaf blocks. Basically what this is, it's the same design style as our terraforming episode that we did early on in this series, where we terraformed the tree farm. Basically, the advice that I can give you when designing a roof like this is don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to add and then potentially have to take away. I guarantee you I'm going to be doing that a lot. I just did it. I just cut a couple of blocks out. Now, that was mainly because I don't need those right there, but we're just going to spam a lot of these around because we want it to look overgrown. We want it to look kind of like this might be some sort of a tree house, but a really short, stubby tree house. We just want it to look really full. Now, that looks okay. What would look better is if I took leaves and dropped them down just like this, so they're kind of hanging over the edge. And you don't want to do it everywhere. You want to do it conservatively. And then the other thing you want to keep in mind is, where are your pathways going to be? Where are you going to be walking? You don't want it to be right in your face or even like one block above your head, just because it looks cramped and it doesn't quite look the best that it can. So I'm just kind of placing these down at random. And once we've got enough of a roof design completed, that we can start pruning it back and putting it into its final shape, I'll come back and we'll move on to the next part of our build together. We have a pretty good chunk of our roof in place, but before we can actually complete that part of the project, we need to work on our walls, and we need to tear this down, our little scaffolding blocks that we use to get up on top of the roof there. And what we're going to do is we've made the decision. We're going to close off this section of the base. it leads over to the nether portal. Now, don't freak out. We're still going to have access to the nether. It's just going to be accessible from the main hallway rather than just this little side cutout that we've had for a while. So we're going to make the decision right now and close it off with a wall. It's going to be the same design that we've used in the rest of our hallway with the glowstone lamps and the fences and the cobblestone stone combination kind of design. So it's going to look pretty similar and, you know, flow into the rest of the build like it's naturally supposed to be there. While we're building this little section, here's what I want to talk to you guys about. I am really, really excited about the progress of my channel. I've only been on YouTube since February 20th, and by the time this episode comes out, I believe it'll be May 3rd or 4th, depending on how quickly I can get it uploaded. But essentially, we're less than 3 months into it. February to March, March to April, and April to the beginning of May. We're 2.5 months in. And the progress on my channel has far exceeded the expectations that I had when I started. Honestly, I didn't have any expectations. I didn't know how many people would actually watch my videos or how many people would actually like them if they did watch them. And it's pretty cool to see the feedback that I'm getting. So far, we are up to over 1,000 views on my channel in 2.5 months. This is the 14th video, so the 13 videos before this came out, I've got over 1,000 views. One of those videos, I figured it would do well, but I didn't know that it would do this well. My iron farm video that we made pretty early on in the series has hit over 250 views by this point. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's looking pretty good. Yeah, let's keep working on that. So yeah, like I was saying, it's hit 250 views in 2.5 months. I'm blown away. I had no expectation for that kind of viewership to happen in the early days of my channel. And I am just so excited to see how it continues to grow and how many more people continue to watch my videos. It's really fun. You know, it's fun to make videos just because I enjoy it. I enjoy playing Minecraft, and I may as well, you know, but it's even more exciting and even more fun when you know that people are enjoying your content and watching. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of my subscribers and all of the people that have been watching since episode 1, and also thank anybody that's come in since then, because I couldn't do this whole YouTube channel thing without you guys. I'd just be basically talking to myself and playing Minecraft to myself, and, you know, I can do that without recording. So without you guys, I wouldn't even have a channel, and I really appreciate you guys spending the time to watch, to like, to comment, to subscribe, and do all of those YouTube-y things. I just wanted to say thank you. So before we put the walls in place, what we need to do is dirty up this grass a little bit. It's too clean looking. It's too flat. It's too plain. And we're going to do that with a couple of different textures. We're going to do that with our spruce logs and spruce leaves. And the logs will look kind of like they're coming out of the structure of the enchanting room itself. There we go. And we're also going to use some cobblestone, and we're just going to sprinkle all of these different textures throughout. We don't want to overdo it. We still want it to be mainly grass, because we want it to be that like naturey forest kind of feel. But these are the kinds of things that you would see on a forest floor. You would see some stones. You would see some logs that have, you know, fallen off of trees, like tree limbs. You would see leaves. You would see different kinds of brush on the ground and that kind of thing. So we want it to look kind of more natural and less, you know, suburban mowed lawn kind of look. And that's what it looked like before. So we're just going to kind of do what I've said to do all along. We're going to add some blocks, and we're going to take some blocks away until we get the correct amount of diversity that we want. And it's looking pretty decent, but I want to put something here. Basically, the idea that we're going for is almost every section of the grass, every row, needs to have a little bit of variance. Almost. Not necessarily every row, but almost. That's pretty good. I like that. I'm happy with that. Let's move on. So we have finished up our pathways, and we've also done some work on our walls. And as you can see, this looks pretty familiar. If you've seen any of my episodes, you know that that's the standard look and feel for the interior of my base area. And we've got some chests over here where we can store books and lapis and any enchanted items that we just want to keep near our enchanting room. So we're doing this last little section over here, and let me explain a little bit about what this is going to be. Our base, for the most part, right now, is only one level. Now, the exception being the iron farm storage room that goes down a little bit, but that doesn't really count. It's still accessible from the main level. Over time, over the course of this series, we're going to build multiple levels to this base. This is going to be an access point to get to those levels. One of these sections will go up, and the other one will go down. It's going to be like a staircase. So we're just basically going to block this in for now, because we're not going to do that for probably quite a while. I've got other plans that we need to finish before we get to multiple levels and all of that, but we at least know they're there. And the last thing that we need to do today is finish the interior of our little enchanting hut. And like I said earlier, we need bookshelves. We got them. We're going to place them all the way around just like this. All right. And then we need to grab our spruce logs, and we're going to put them up top for our ceiling. And we're just going to do a really simple ceiling, just like that. And we leave one block opening in the middle for a redstone lamp. And you know, I don't like that, and I know why I don't like that, because that's not how I built it in my testing world. I put it one block up, and we need to... Oh, can I not place a block on top of an enchanting table? Even while crouching, huh? Interesting, I never knew that. You learn something new every day. You learn something new every day. Now, there's no way to get up there without breaking all those leaves. I don't want to break those leaves, so I'm going to do the lesser of two evils. I'm going to break my enchanting table for a minute and pillar up here, just like this, so I can place my glowstone lamp down, or redstone lamp, rather. Let's grab some cobble, and there we go. Now we need to put a lever on this to activate it. We always want it to be on. It's not like it's going to be going anywhere, and perfect. Now let's dig out. How are we going to get back down? We'll dig that out. Okay, that was a little harder than it needed to be, but we are good to go. So we'll cover that back up, and now what we need to do is get our enchanting table back out and place that back down. And I think we're good. I think we're good, everybody. This is a finished design, and as you can see, all of the little notes are going from the bookshelves to the enchanting table, and we are ready to go. Unfortunately, guys, it is that time. Once again, it is time for us to wrap up this episode, and I gotta say, I'm really proud with the amount of work that we got done, especially in the amount of time that I had to record, because I was gone over the weekend, and I didn't have any time to record or build anything in the base, except for stuff I was gonna do off camera. And so we did this one in a fairly short amount of time. And the base is starting to come together, guys. It's nowhere near finished. We still have a lot of plans, a lot of things that we want to do in the base area. But it's starting to look like not just a kind of splattering of rooms across a mountain, but it's like a cohesive unit. It's looking pretty good. Now, each room has its own unique look and feel. Like the blacksmith shop looks like the blacksmith shop. This looks like the enchanting room, and the iron farm has its little iron tendencies. It's got iron walls in a couple of places, and it's really cool how each place has its own unique look and feel, but it still maintains that main base quality with the redstone lamps and the fences and all of that. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you liked this build and hope it inspires you to build a little bit better in your own world. But for now, my name is BluJay, and I've got to fly on out of here. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.